Is art in the street or is street in the art? That's the real question, and I think that comes down to the individual artist. It is literally created by the people who've turned up and contributed. A number of DJs and performers are looking for alternative venues, people are looking for different venues to go and experience, and so therefore it's evolved from being simply a garden into an art space, music space, collaboration space, project space, and that's what it is now today. I'm not going to say my name. The short answer is that the garden and the project and what you see, come and see it, it will speak for itself. They asked us about this place and I explained that our spaceship crashed here a couple of years ago and that having a look at the street art around, we did a similar thing to try and blend in. They actually believed me for about 10 minutes until they realised I was messing with them, but there we are. To create gardens that can be grown in by the local community, food and whatever, then moved around from site to site as each site is then redeveloped. It's a great opportunity for people to come and meet people, to be on your own, to do some art, to not do some art, to listen to some music, not listen to music, get drunk, stay sober, enjoy a party, come and grow some vegetables for your family or not. It's a space where you can do a lot of things you can't do elsewhere.
I love the place. I think it's very inspiring. And I immediately thought of, I should be painting here. And then I started to follow the place, what was going on. They do a lot of things really good for the communities as well. As a garden in itself, it could be as an art garden. There's a lot of gardens around the world. They are populated with art. They have got art around. They show art as well.
That's the whole idea, was to start off an urban growing area using brownfield sites. These are sites which will be redeveloped at some point. These tend to be industrial sites, working sites, business sites. This case is old railway land. We have no public funding. We've never asked for public funding. It has always been funded by people here and then people giving donations. The initial sort of setup money came from pretty much one person's family. I've put some of mine in as well to get things like skips and stuff to get rid of rubbish and things like that. But it has been pretty much self-funded. The idea of the donations is twofold. One, to get people to realise that they can't rock up with 40 quid's worth of food and beer and booze and expect someone else to clean up after them, that there is actually a cost. So the idea is it's not wages or anything or thank yous. It's the idea is come, you're interested in the garden, you contribute towards it. In other projects, you go and look at other community gardens, they tend to be beautifully laid out, beautifully manicured, and that's the last thing this place is. It is very much a scrapyard turned into a garden, and so it's a completely different idea, so it doesn't really suit public funding.
There are arguments that street art could be put into a museum, that perhaps someone like me could build my own museum and invite street artists to make work to show there.
What is the purpose of a museum? The purpose of a museum is to preserve for the purpose of history for a number of reasons, for example academic. There was plenty of old graffiti in the past, but not at the kind of state and style that it is now, not to the complexity and level it's at. So something that's relatively new in terms of the extent and graphic form that it takes, it's unlikely that a museum would be interested in taking that on because it's part of the contemporary culture and not a historic one. So it's probably not ready for a museum. But what is street art? Is it just painting on walls? What about somebody who does a great design of pavement? That's street art. Arranging plants is street art. Make a flower clock. Trees, all that kind of stuff. So it's just a different medium, but it's still art. And people have that expression.
The different ways that people present exhibitions, whether that be nomadic communities, whether that be in community gardens, whether that be on the street, whether that be on the move, all of these are valid and pleasurable ways of presenting artwork. The important thing is that people have a relationship to art, that they understand the transformatory potential of art, the way that art can break into people's everyday lives and offer a glimmer of something different, of something else, just for a moment. What's important is that people get that experience of art. And my message to anybody making art, anybody exhibiting art, whether they be in a community garden or whether they're in a palazzo in Venice, is to try as much to understand that the work is to communicate from one human being to another through the practice of art.
The whole idea is not even a journey. The idea is that we had an opportunity to get some land. We have a proper lease which says you get to use it, you've got to do this, we shall do this, which pretty much pay the rent, insure, keep it clean, don't create problems. Simple agreement. Originally 6 months, then they extended it for the year, and it's been a case of how you doing. Some great things have happened here, certainly, but it's not about the journey, it's about what people have got out of it and what they've contributed to it. So as a consequence, there won't be any rush, but obviously we'd have to clear out at some point.